is Eidul Adha. May Allah's blessings bring happiness, peace and prosperity in your life. Eid Mubarak.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen amma ba'd fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem bismillahir rahmanir rahim as-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah as-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Habiballah as-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah. صلوا الحبيب صلى الله تعالى على محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. Marhaba, Khush Amdeed, welcome to one and all to another beautiful and exciting episode of this beautiful series which is called The Days of Sacrifice. Subhanallah. Today is indeed the second day of Eid, Eidul Adha, the day of Qurbani, the days of Hajj. And subhanallah, many of the Muslimin around the globe offered and performed this sacrifice yesterday in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept everyone's Qurbani, and those fortunate beings who are in the blessed cities of Makkatul Mukarramah and Madinatul Munawwara. Make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept their Hajj. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through their sadaqah and their wasila, grant all of us the opportunity, the blessed opportunity of visiting these noble cities often, and may we also get the opportunity of performing Hajj with our family, our relatives, and our Pir or Murshid, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all abundance of barakah and goodness. Alhamdulillah, as we all know that normally Qurbani can be done in these 3 days, not only on the 10th of Zulhijjah, and we have noticed that many people do perform their Qurbanis in the later days, the second or the third day, because the first day it's lots of rush and everyone is performing Qurbani, and some people like to do it a bit later. So Alhamdulillah, those who have not yet performed their Qurbani, we make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your Qurbanis as well when you perform it. And in this beautiful episode and silsila, yesterday we discussed some very beautiful points from our esteemed and respected guest of honor, and indeed there were some points which were discussed which unfortunately many of the Muslims around the globe are very heedless of, and we don't take care of these delicate and small matters, and it can end up ruining our Qurbani and ruining our sacrifice. Subhanallah. Today, inshallah, we will be discussing also some very important points with regards to the Qurbani. Yesterday, we discussed some fadail, some excellences of the Qurbani, and today we will be focusing on, inshallah, some very delicate points, especially with regards to the Qurbani. Many questions come in, and the famous questions which people ask with regards to Qurbani every year. And trust me, there are some questions which if you listen to it, you'll feel as if it's something shocking. Why would somebody ask a question like this? But yes, these are the type of situations which take place in the different farms and at the time of slaughtering. And unfortunately, it's because people do not have the proper knowledge of Islam. In a previous episode, Mufti Sahib mentioned that it's the lack of knowledge of Islamic deen. And that's the reason why people end up doing these wrong and bad activities. We make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on us, and may He grant us the ability of seeking ilm deen and learning this beautiful deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah. Today on this beautiful day of Eid, once again we wish one and all a very joyous and Mubarak Eid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of you all happiness and immense reward from His court. And once again we are joined with our respected guest of honor, Hazrat Allama Maulana Qibla Mufti Abdul Nabi Hamidi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve Mufti Sahib, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him a healthy long life, so we may continue plucking the fruits of beneficence and the fruits of wisdom from this beautiful tree of knowledge. Mufti Sahib, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. How are you, Mufti Sahib? How is your health?
Alhamdulillahi ala kulli hal.
Before we begin our today's important topic, And before we start discussing the various masail and the various rulings regarding to Qurbani, just a reminder that yesterday we discussed about the beautiful excellence of performing Qurbani, and the summary of a hadith where Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that a person performing Qurbani gets the sawab and the reward equivalent to each hair on the body of the sacrificed animal. Subhanallah. This is only one, and we learned many other rewards, that the animal will be a ride for you on the bridge of Sirat. It's going to serve as, it's going to be placed on your good deeds, and your good deeds will be heavier on the day of judgment. And there are many and lots of rewards. So if anyone who was supposed to perform Qurbani and he has not yet performed his Qurbani due to heedlessness, due to arrogance, due to any other reason, it's a request to one and all that please do perform your Qurbani if it is wajib upon you. And the person who does not perform the Qurbani, as we learned in the hadith, that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed a sign of disliking towards that person who, despite having the opportunity and the means of performing Qurbani, still does not perform Qurbani. And indeed, this is something very unfortunate, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon you so much wealth, so much bounties, and still, if you cannot do this much, you can't spend in His path, you cannot perform this Qurbani, you cannot do these kind of things, then indeed you are unfortunate and you are not a person who shows gratitude. Because one of the methods of showing gratitude is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows upon you something, then you spend that in His path and you serve the humanity, and you serve people with that blessings. And this is a way of showing gratitude to the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have blessed with wealth, if you have not yet performed your Qurbani, perform it as soon as possible, and with that support those around you as well, the fuqara, the masakin, and the poor people around you. Subhanallah. In these days of Qurbani, one very, very important question which is on the mind of every person, and that is, what is the nisab, or the amount which a person should have in order for him to qualify for Qurbani to be wajib on him. And with this question will come to Mufti Saab. Mufti Saab, if you can just elaborate on this specific topic.
First of all, we need to keep in mind that Qurbani is wajib on baligh,
Ji.
muqim,
Ji.
man or woman
Ji.
must be Muslim,
Ji.
and sahib nisab.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
Baligh means person has reached the age of puberty.
Okay. Ji.
He is resident,
Ji.
he is not traveling,
Ji.
and he is Muslim.
Subhanallah.
The Qurbani is not wajib on non-Muslims,
Ji. Ji.
male or female,
Ji.
and he must be sahib nisab.
Ji.
Sahib nisab means that he owns a nisab amount
Ji.
which is worked out through silver,
Okay. Subhanallah.
52.5 tolas. So to make it easy, the same amount that becomes nisab in zakat
Oh, Ji. 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 Ji.
becomes nisab in Qurbani as well.
Okay. Subhanallah.
But there are a few differences.
Ji.
For example, if person has extra house or plot or something for investment, or he has some extra things in the house,
Ji. Ji. Ji.
in zakat we don't calculate them. Zakat is not farz on those items. But in Qurbani,
Ji.
all those extra things will be considered.
Okay.
If he has extra house or plot, or even in his house, there are things which are not basic or fundamental needs,
Ji. Ji.
then all that would be counted, and if it reaches to the limit of nisab,
Ji.
then Qurbani will be wajib
Allahu.
on that person.
Okay. Subhanallah, subhanallah. And this was indeed a very important point which Qibla Mufti Sahib mentioned, that some extra things which a person has in his house. Then in the case of zakat, zakat is not necessary on those things, but in Qurbani, those things will be counted. And I'm sure many of us did not know this mas'ala and this law and this ruling. Subhanallah, during the days of Qurbani, when a person performs Qurbani, and many of us observe around us in our surroundings, in the area, many of us go to the farms, or it takes place at home, wherever, whatever the case is, we do notice that lots of mistakes take place due to not having knowledge, due to ignorance. Some people have the knowledge, but maybe it's a norm and a custom of that society, of that area, and lots of wrong things take place, and this can end up and result in the person's Qurbani not being accepted, or his Qurbani not being done at all. There are some few things which everyone should keep in mind, and inshallah Mufti Sahib will elaborate further on these beautiful points, but I'm just going to read out to you a few points, and inshallah we'll take the explanation from Mufti Sahib. It is generally observed that normally one goat is sacrificed on behalf of the entire family, despite the Qurbani being wajib for a number of family members, as they possess wealth up to the extent of nisab. It is obligatory to perform separate Qurbanis on behalf of all those for whom the Qurbani is wajib. Not even a single family member's wajib will be fulfilled if only one goat is sacrificed on behalf of the whole family, because a goat does not possess more than one share. It can only be sacrificed on behalf of a specific individual. Subhanallah, subhanallah. Mufti Sahib, in this point, it is mentioned that normally people sacrifice one goat on behalf of the entire family. And as we learned that if Qurbani is necessary on many people and this act is done, then no one's Qurbani will be fulfilled. So, and furthermore, they mentioned that a goat does not possess more than one share. So, in animals, are there different shares? Should there be, is there a different amount of shares in different animals? And what's the ruling pertaining to this matter? Yeah.
See, as far as shares are concerned,
Ji.
Goat or sheep is a one fixed share.
Okay. Ji.
In big animals
Ji.
like cow or bull
Ji.
or camel,
Ji, ji, ji.
there are 7 shares.
Okay. Okay.
Each share actually represents one goat.
All right. Okay. Ji.
But the issue that's raised
Ji.
is a common problem.
Ji. Ji.
I've noticed myself,
Ji.
some people, they think this way,
Ji.
that last year I did Qurbani on my behalf,
Ji, 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 ji.
this year I will do on behalf of my wife.
Right.
Or last year I did for my wife, this year I'll do for my son
Allah.
or for my daughter.
Ji.
Now, if Qurbani is wajib on you the breadwinner,
Ji, ji, ji.
you earn the money assets belong to you,
Ji.
then what about your own Qurbani?
Ji, 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 ji.
That wajib would not fall away
Right.
because you're doing it on behalf of your wife or son or daughter.
Right.
Yeah, if you do your own first
Ji.
and you have extra funds,
Ji.
you can do on behalf of them, there's no problem.
Okay. Ji, ji, ji.
But if it is wajib on you and on them,
Ji.
or one of them or two of them,
Yeah.
then each one must do their own Qurbani.
Allah. Okay.
So this is something that people do not know. Many people, they make mistake, and their own wajib is pending
Right.
upon their shoulders, which they have to fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing on behalf of some relative
Right.
would not help.
Right.
Maybe on whose behalf you are doing, it was not wajib on him or her, but it's wajib on you.
Ji.
So that wajib would still be upon your shoulders,
Allah.
which you need to fulfill.
Allahu Akbar.
And if it's not done within the days of sacrifice,
Ji.
then thereafter he has to give money
Allah.
equivalent to the value of goat or sheep as sadaqah. Then he can't even slaughter an animal later. He has to fulfill that responsibility
Ji.
by giving that sadaqah as expiation.
Okay. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So Mufti Sahib, doing Qurbani on behalf of someone, is this only the people who are alive, like his wife, his daughter, his parents maybe? Or can we do on behalf of the awliya kiram, or those who have left this world physically as well?
You can do nafli Qurbani on behalf of anyone that you wish to do.
Right.
You can do on behalf of our beloved Nabi
Subhanallah.
sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Sallallahu alaihi
Sayyiduna Ghaus al-Azam, Khaja Muinuddin Chishti Ajmeri, Ala Hazrat
Ji.
radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, or your parents, or your Piro Murshid, your teacher,
Okay. Ji.
on behalf of whole ummah.
Ji. Subhanallah.
So that nafli Qurbani is fine. You can do.
This will obviously be after we do our wajib.
Yeah, you have to do your wajib first.
Okay. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. And indeed, this is a common problem. And yes, people do phone us and message us and say, Hazrat, last year I already performed my Qurbani. So this year I want to perform on behalf of so and so and so and so person. So what should I do? Whereas they don't realize that every year, if Qurbani is wajib on them, they need to first perform their own Qurbani first. As Mufti Sahib says, that people do it on behalf of others, but it is pending on their shoulders. And this is something which is due to ignorance, and people don't have the knowledge. So whenever Qurbani is necessary on you, even if it is for 10 years, 15 years, each year, if it is wajib on you, you should perform your Qurbani first. And Alhamdulillah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted you the means, then perform on behalf of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam nafil Qurbani, on behalf of Ghaus-e-Azam Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, on behalf of the awliya ikram, Ala Hazrat, and your parents, on behalf of the ummah as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to learn the ilm deen correctly and properly. Subhanallah. One more important rule which a person should keep in his mind is the age of the sacrificial animal. The camel must be 5 years of age, a cow should be 2 years of age, and a goats include nanny goat, sheep, male, female, these kind of animals, they should be of 1 year. If an animal is younger than the described age, it is impermissible to sacrifice it for Qurbani. If the animal is older or elder than the described age, the Qurbani is not only permissible but also preferable. It is better. Subhanallah. However, if a sheep or a 6-month-old lamb is so big that it appears to be 1 year of age when seen from a distance, its Qurbani is permissible. Remember, basically the Qurbani of a 6-month-old lamb is not permissible. Its Qurbani is permissible only if it is so healthy and tall that it seems to be 1 year of age when seen from a distance. If a 6-month-old lamb, or even the one short of just 1 day in a year, does not appear to be 1 year of age when seen from a distance, its Qurbani will not be permissible. Allah. This is also a matter which everyone should keep in mind. And unfortunately, many people just go to the farms and they purchase the animals without taking care of the age. The age is something very important. As we mentioned, the different animals have different age groups which qualify them for Qurbani. This is something important which everyone should keep in mind. Another important point, it is necessary that the sacrificial animal be free from defects. If there is a slight defect, such as the ear is torn or pierced, the Qurbani will be makruh. And if there is a major defect, the Qurbani will not be valid. Allah. With regards to the animal having defects and with regards to the age of the sacrificed animal, Mufti Sahib, if Mufti Sahib can just elaborate further on this topic.
Well, this is clearly stated that goat or sheep must be complete 1 year
Ji.
of age, and cow or bull or buffalo,
Ji.
they must be of 2 years of age,
Right.
and camel 5 years of age complete, not a day or half a day less.
Yes, okay. Ji. Ji.
But there's exemption
Ji.
regarding the sheep,
Right. Right.
that is of or baby sheep,
Right.
that's of 6 months
Okay.
or 7 months or
Right.
8 months, minimum 6 months.
Ji, ji.
When they say 6 months, it means minimum.
Okay.
But its height, weight, if for example, there are a lot of sheeps there
Ji.
that are of 1 year of age,
Right. Right. Right.
and this particular one is put amongst them.
Ji.
So one can't make a difference,
Right. Right. Right.
which is bigger and which is smaller.
Ji.
So
Ji.
looks like 1 year.
Right. Right.
So this is exclusive with sheep family.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So this rule cannot be applied on goat family.
Okay.
So
Ji.
that must be kept in mind. This is
Ji.
especially
For sheep.
for sheep, not for goat.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
So if the baby goat is 6 months
Ji.
and looks big and healthy and heavy,
Ji.
looks like of 1 year, there's no exemption in that.
All right. Okay.
But it's only in sheep.
In sheep. Ji. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Same will apply with the cows and the camels. If they
Yeah.
look like they're 5, but they're not actually.
Yeah, no, the age is fixed there.
Okay, okay. Subhanallah. And Mufti Sahab, with regards to the defects, normally we see in farms that they place some sort of tags on the ears of the animals. And for that, sometimes they pierce the ear, like how you put earrings, some sort of those kind of things. Or maybe the tail is cut off of the animal. In that case, what does Mufti Sahab say about that? Will that be as a defect in the animal?
The small holes would not be regarded as defects or disqualify
Ji.
the animal for slaughtering.
Okay.
Yes, when it comes to tail, there is a specific rule
Okay.
that if it is cut 1/3 or more,
Ji.
then that animal cannot be used for sacrifice.
Okay. Okay.
Even ear,
Ji.
if it's cut 1/3 or more,
Okay.
then you cannot use that for Qurbani. These are regarded as defects.
Okay.
So people must make sure in a lot of places they cut the tails,
Ji. Ji.
and somehow they believe that it makes the animal disease free and
Right.
more healthy and etc. So we need to be very careful that the tail is complete.
Okay.
Or if it is cut, then it is cut less than 1/3.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Another important point Mufti Sahab was mentioning regarding the ears and the tail, and some people do ask about the horns as well. So the Qurbani of the animal that does not have horns by birth is permissible. If it has horns but they are broken, then there will be two different rulings. This is important for our viewers. If the horns are broken from the roots, the Qurbani will not be valid. It will be invalid. And if they are broken only from the top with the roots intact, in that case the Qurbani will be valid. This is regarding the horns. And yes, you do find many sheep and goats who do have horns, not only the cows and the bulls. So those that are slaughtering the animals with horns, whether they are sheep, goats, please take care of this rule and this masala as well. It is important. Many times, unfortunately, people go for sometimes the most maybe best looking sheep or the best looking animal, and not necessarily that if the animal is looking very good, it is fulfilling all the conditions of Qurbani. So we shouldn't just go on the looks of the animal. We should also focus on if all the conditions are met that Qurbani can be valid of that animal, then we should purchase that animal and use it for Qurbani.
See, there's some detail on it.
Ji.
as you said, if the horns are out from the root,
Ji, ji,
then Qurbani is not valid of that animal.
ji.
This is conditioned with a situation that if the injury is still fresh,
Right.
but if it healed
Ji.
and that area is no more injured,
Right.
that freshness of injury is not there,
Ji.
then even if the horns were taken out from the roots,
Ji.
Qurbani would be valid.
Oh, subhanallah, subhanallah.
So that's a little detail on it.
Okay, subhanallah, subhanallah. So Mufti Sahab just elaborated further on with regards to the horns, that if it is broken from the roots but the wound is not fresh, means it was healed and it is recovered, in that case the Qurbani will also be valid. Subhanallah, subhanallah. Mufti Sahab, in countries, especially South Africa and European countries, we observe that they have different farms, and many people go, they book the animal, they'll come back home, and on the day of Eid, they'll just go there. The animal will be taken to the slaughtering house and it will be made to lie down. And normally the person who's in charge, who's looking after the animals, he'll hold the knife on the neck, and the one whose Qurbani it is, he'll come and also just put his hand there, and the one who was slaughtering, means the owner, the owner of the farm, he'll slaughter, he'll say, you make your intention, and he'll run the knife over the neck, and this person he'll just put his hand, then he'll walk away, and then the skinning, slicing, everything will be done, and his parcel will be given to him. What are the precautions one should take in this matter? And
this is a very dangerous situation.
Okay, ji.
Because the second person who's putting hand on the knife together with the first person,
Ji, ji.
they both must recite takbir.
Okay, subhanallah, subhanallah.
Bismillahi Allahu Akbar.
Ji,
They
ji.
both must recite.
Ji, ji.
And if the main person, as you mentioned, is slaughtering and he is reading Bismillah Allahu Akbar, and the owner of the Qurbani just keeping the hand upon his hand,
Right.
thinking that he is participating in slaughtering,
Ji, ji, ji.
then the animal will become haram.
Allah, 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 Allah.
That would be a dead meat.
Allah,
Nobody can eat that. That's a haram animal.
Allah, Allah, Allah.
So this masla must be known to everyone,
Ji.
that if they want to do that, if they want to put their hand on top of the hand of the slaughterer,
Ji.
then they must also recite
The takbir.
takbir.
Subhanallah. And this is indeed a very important ruling, because we have observed this personally as well, that people are maybe scared to go close to the animal, or they want to save themselves from the blood, and they're wearing jubbas or kurtas, whatever the case is, and they'll just go as a formality, basically, a formality in inverted commas. They'll go there and they'll put their hand, and the slaughterer will slaughter, and they don't know this mas'ala, that if both of them are touching, holding that knife, then they both need to recite the takbir, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. And as Mufti Sahab said, that if the one who's slaughtering, he has the knife, and someone just goes and puts his hand, the owner basically, and he doesn't recite the takbir, the animal will be carrion, will be dead meat, and nobody can eat that meat. So the Qurbani is not performed, first of all, and secondly, that animal will also become dead meat. What a big loss this is. And unfortunately, people are not aware of it, and they come back happily that yes, our Qurbani is done. And people even jokingly speak to each other and say that, I was so scared of going there, I just went and put my hand and he slaughtered the animal. I just went to save myself from the blood, the splashes of the blood, and I just put my hand there. Proudly they're telling each others, and they'll laugh and they'll speak about it, whereas they don't realize what a big violation of the right of Sharia they have done, and what a big violation of this animal they have done, basically, that this animal which was halal for them, they have now made it haram, and a big problem takes place. And the base of everything comes down to the same point, that it is due to ignorance. People do not have knowledge of Islam. Allahu Akbar. We will now take, inshallah, a short break. And inshallah, we will just listen to a few Madani pearls related to these beautiful days, related to Qurbani, related to the days of Eid al-Adha. And inshallah, as soon as we come back from this short break, we will carry on our beautiful and exciting topic. Don't go anywhere, stay with us inshallah. And there are still many more beautiful points which we need to learn, and we will take more words of wisdom from our respected guest of honor. Sallu al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Subhanallah. In this beautiful occasion of Eid, Eid al-Adha, the Eid of sacrificing, the Eid in which everyone performs Qurbani, let us listen to some beautiful sayings of the noble Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned, the one who performs Qurbani of an animal gets the reward of one good deed for each hair of the sacrificed animal. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned, the one who wholeheartedly performs Qurbani of an animal for reward, his Qurbani will serve as a barrier between him and hellfire. Allahu Akbar. And beautiful hadith, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned, O Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha, stay near your sacrificial animal because your sins will be forgiven as soon as the first drop of its blood falls down. Subhanallah. What excellences are there of performing Qurbani in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Let's all make intentions that we will perform Qurbani wholeheartedly if it is necessary upon us, and inshallah azza jal, we will follow this beautiful sunnat of Hazrat Ibrahim ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wassalam. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Subhanallah, subhanallah. So we were discussing the etiquettes and the precautions a person should take when they are slaughtering, and all the necessary precautions a person should take when they are going to purchase the animal, which are the conditions for the animal. Alhamdulillah, we were discussing some of them. At the time of slaughtering, which veins need to be cut? How much should a person cut? What is the requirement by Sharia which a person needs to take care of in order for the animal to become halal for him to consume? Subhanallah. Sadr al-Sharia, Badr al-Tariqah, Hazrat Allama Maulana Mufti Muhammad Amjad Ali Azami alayhi rahmatullah al-Qawi has mentioned that there are 4 veins which need to be cut during the slaughter, the Qurbani. Number 1, the windpipe. So this is the tube in the throat that carries air to the lungs. This is the first. Number 2, the esophagus. This is the tube through which food passes from the mouth to the stomach. On either side of the esophagus are 2 other veins called wadajain in Arabic. If any 3 of these 4 veins are cut during the slaughter, the animal will be halal, because the ruling of the whole of something also applies to the most part of it. Subhanallah. Furthermore, if most part of each vein is cut, the animal will still be halal, but if each vein is cut by half only, with the remaining half not cut, then the animal will not be halal. This is regarding the veins and how much should a person cut in order for the animal to be halal for him. Mufti Sahab, coming towards Mufti Sahab, with regards to this, there is a question. Normally people, when they slaughter, either the knife is too sharp or they get very excited, they end up cutting the entire head of the animal. Or maybe they'll just chop it off, or maybe while cutting they'll cut the whole head off. In this case, what's the ruling of Sharia?
The animal would still be halal, okay, even though this act is makruh. Right. It's a disliked act.
Ji.
But it would not make any impact upon the status of the animal.
Ji.
The animal would be still Pak, pure, halal. One should be careful. Now see what you have explained now. How important it is to learn how to slaughter. This is not for everyone. Just go pick up the knife and slaughter and you think you have done the job. These 4 veins, you must know where they are.
Right.
Now, Vadajain you mentioned, these are 2 blood vessels. and then the windpipe, then the pipe for food. And on right side and on left side are the wadajan, the blood vessels. So now, sometimes if a person might just slaughter straight, and he might only cut two. So there has to be a way to cut. Normally people who know how to cut, they will start from the front, go on the side, go on this side, to make sure that all four are cut. If all four are not cut, then at least three are cut. So this is very important for everyone who is doing Qurbani, that learn properly how to slaughter. You might think you have slaughtered an animal correctly by reading Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, but in reality, that animal is not halal. So this is very important rule, because at this time, a lot of inexperienced people will be slaughtering. Other times, experienced people slaughter, because that's their job. They know how to slaughter. But at the time of Qurbani, a lot of new people, a lot of inexperienced people, they are slaughtering. So they need to learn this rule very properly, that how to slaughter an animal.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. And if we have to look at it scientifically as well, the method Islam has given us, of cutting these four veins and waiting, not chopping off the entire head, as Mutisab said, it's makruh. And why is it makruh? Because there's a reason behind everything. Islam is a beautiful religion. So there's a reason why Islam told you to cut these four veins. And if you look at it scientifically, we see that the animals whose head is chopped off completely, yes, lots of blood oozes out and that, but the blood still remains in some parts of the meat. And later on, when that meat is cooked, the blood does go in the human's body, and that can cause many diseases later on. It is harmful for the human body as well. Whereas if you look at the Islamic way of slaughtering, that when a person just cuts these four veins and then they wait for a while, so you must have noticed the animal starts kicking, it starts moving its leg, and because of that pressure which the animal uses, the blood which is stuck in the meat now gets pushed out properly. And if you have to compare both meats, the meat of that animal whose head was chopped off completely and the meat of that animal who was cut or slaughtered according to the Islamic way, you will find out that the way the meat of the animal which was slaughtered Islamically is much more healthier, and it is much more benefiting to your body and the human body. Subhanallah. So Islam gave you everything, but not just without any reason, without any wisdom. No, there's 1,000 wisdoms behind every mentioning every law and every hukum of Islam. Subhanallah. And indeed, why shouldn't there be wisdom when this is the law made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the law made by His beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Subhanallah. So their decisions, their words are obviously filled with wisdom, and such wisdom which we can never ever understand. Today's science is explaining to you all, and science is telling you all that yes, the way Islam teaches you all to slaughter, that is much more better. Subhanallah. And this is only regarding slaughtering. There are 1,000 other things regarding wuzu, salah, your etiquettes, way of eating, way of drinking, which Islam teaches you, and today's science is saying that yes, that is the proper way in which the specific action should be done. Subhanallah. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us Muslims, and He has made us the beloved ummatis of His beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And if we spend our entire lives in sajda, still we will never ever be able to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this great and blessed bounty which He has bestowed upon us. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Mufti Sahab, when slaughtering, many of us know that we need to recite the takbir, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Is there any other dua or any other intentions or anything else which we should recite before or after or at the time of Qurbani, any time, which we should keep in mind when we are performing this Qurbani?
We find in the books of fiqh
जी,
and many books of our scholars
जी,
that before slaughtering,
जी,
one should read this, and this is in Quran Kareem.
जी, जी,
إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا وما أنا من المشركين إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين
سبحان الله,
لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا من المسلمين.
سبحان الله, سبحان الله,
One should read that,
जी,
and then he should read Allahumma laka wa minka bismillahi Allahu Akbar.
okay, سبحان الله, سبحان الله,
So now the takbir comes in here, Bismillahi Allahu Akbar, but also comes Allahumma laka wa minka.
سبحان الله, سبحان
And then with the sharp knife,
जी,
one should slaughter immediately.
जी, سبحان الله,
And then after slaughtering, one should make dua, Allahumma taqabbal minni kama taqabbalta min khalilika Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam
سبحان الله, سبحان الله,
wa habibika Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So now in this dua he said, Allahumma taqabbal minni.
जी,
If he's slaughtering his animal.
जी,
But if he's slaughtering for someone else, then instead of saying minni,
जी,
he should say min and then take that person's name.
okay,
This is the way of slaughtering, and these are the du'as.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah, what beautiful du'as, and indeed the ayat of the Holy Quran, and not just Bismillah Allahu Akbar as Mufti Sahib mentioned, Allahumma laka wa minka Bismillah Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, the more the merrier. And at the end, making this dua that, Ya Allah, accept it from me, or if you're doing on behalf of someone else, then on behalf of so-and-so person, you mention the name, as you accepted it from Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, your Khalil, and your beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Subhanallah, what beautiful du'as this is. And this shows us that whenever a person performs an ibadat, then he shouldn't just depend on his action and on his performance. No. In fact, before that worship, he should have the intention only and solely for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And after he performs that certain action, then he should make dua of acceptance, that, Ya Allah, we have done this ibadat, whatever was in our capability, in our possibility, we have done that. But Ya Allah, you are the acceptor of deeds, Ya Allah, you accept this good deed in your exalted court. So make it a habit, whenever you do something good, whether it's salah, whether it's zakat, it's fasting, it's hajj, or any good deed, whenever you perform it, don't ever feel that your performance is enough. No, make dua that, Ya Allah, with your mercy, with your raham, with your karam, Ya Allah, accept this deed from us. Because indeed, our deeds are based upon the acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If He wants, He can accept it. If He wants, He may reject it. And by Allah, if He accepts something and He loves that action, that can be a means for us entering Jannah. Subhanallah. So every moment we are dependent on the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without the mercy,
even when you say Allahumma laka wa minka,
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, ji,
oh Allah, this sacrifice is for you,
ji,
for your pleasure.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah,
I'm doing it because you ordered us to do.
ji, ji, ji,
Wa minka, it is from you.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah,
You enabled me to do it. You gave me the wealth.
ji,
The money that I have today is from you. You gave me.
Subhanallah,
And the order of sacrifice you gave me.
Subhanallah,
And the reward of sacrifice you gave me.
Allah, Allah,
So that's an acknowledgement
Subhanallah,
that be humble slave of Allah Azza wa Jal.
ji,
Allahumma laka wa minka.
Subhanallah,
Bismillahi Allahu Akbar.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to always thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for every bounty, and may we always show our gratitude towards the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen bijahi Nabil Ameen sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. While Mufti was speaking, Mufti mentioned that with a sharp knife slaughtered the animal. And I would ask Mufti now why he mentioned sharp knife. But before that, one very important point which should be brought to the attention of people is that whilst performing this great deed of Qurbani, when we are sacrificing, unfortunately many people mess up things. They start showing cruelty. They start showing out of the arrogance and the ignorance, they start treating the animals in a bad and an inappropriate way, and they end up hurting the animals. Maybe they end up even breaking some parts of the body of the animals, and lots of torture is shown to those animals. Remember, the animals are those creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they cannot speak, they cannot complain to anyone. Yes, you might hit a Muslim, you might shout a Muslim, he might complain to someone else, he might file a case against you, he might say something against you, or in return he'll hit you maybe. But these animals are basically helpless. They can't complain, they can't file a case, they can't hit you, they can't do anything. So why take the advantage of their helplessness and start showing cruelty towards these animals? Mufti will elaborate further on this topic. Mufti, you mentioned a sharp knife. If Mufti can mention why a sharp knife, and then the wrong acts which people show towards the animals.
Yes, sharp knife, it is for the reason, so the job must be done quickly. The animal must not suffer longer, because it's the pain of death is very severe for everyone, whether it's a human being or whether it is animal. As you mentioned that they are animals, they can't speak or can't express, but we are ordered by our deen to be kind and soft towards them.
Subhanallah.
Show mercy towards them. Allah has made them a mean for your food and for your ibadat and for your services. You ride on them, you plow land through them, or so many other services you take from them. You get meat, you get milk, all milk products and all that come. Without that, life will become miserable. So look after them. Do not torture them. Do not cause pain to them. Especially in this time, handling them with care, with mercy is very important. A lot of people do a lot of wrong things at a time like this. They should be mindful, and they have a duty and responsibility. It's an ibadat. Do your ibadat correctly in a proper way. Learn it, how to do it, how to handle. Then inshallah you will do much better.
Subhanallah. So Islam is such a beautiful religion that Islam teaches you to show kindness, not only towards human beings, not only towards people, but yes, towards animals as well, towards those creatures and those creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who cannot speak, who cannot do anything, they are helpless. Islam says show kindness to them as well. Subhanallah. Indeed, these are bounties from the court of Allah. As Mufti mentioned, they are a means of your food, of your transportation, and of your services. They are for you, so it is your duty to take care of them. When you all have children, you'll love them, you'll take care of them. Likewise, these animals, you also love them. You should show affection and kindness towards them as well. Subhanallah. This is how beautiful the religion of Islam is. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the true understandings of this beautiful religion of Islam. With these few words, yes, we have come towards the end of today's episode. Alhamdulillah, many beautiful and important points were discussed in today's silsila, and many precautions we should take with regards to slaughtering, with regards to Qurbani, with regards to the animals as well. We hope to meet you soon, inshallah. Tomorrow we will be back with another beautiful and exciting topic, and inshallah we will take more words of wisdom from our respected guest of honor, Qibla Mufti Abdul Nabi Hamidi Sahib. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him and grant him barakah in his knowledge, in his ilm, and may we continue plucking these beautiful words of wisdom from this great personality. Subhanallah. Remember, instill the love of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your hearts, in the hearts of those around you, because this love of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the base of your iman, the base of everything. Eid Mubarak to all of you all, those that have performed their Qurbani, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it. Those that are going to perform, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it as well. We hope to see you soon. Till then, remain positive, think positive, stay positive, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep all of you always happy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
This Eid al-Adha, may Allah's blessings bring happiness, peace and prosperity.